He can give orders, and they're different from what I thought. But anyway, I like my job, so I listen to everything he says. So first of all, good morning, and welcome to Governor Hogan's Baltimore County Cabinet meeting. My name is Jim Ports. I'm Deputy Secretary for Maryland Department of Transportation. And more importantly, I'm actually a graduate of CCBC Essex. Although back then it was called Essex Community College. Sorry. Phi Theta Kappa. I want to thank and recognize President Sandy Curtinis of CCBC for hosting us today. Where is she? There she is. And so the reason I'm emceeing is because I am a native of Baltimore County, the east side of Baltimore County. I represented this area in the House of Delegates for 12 years alongside my able running mate, Al Redmer, who is also Maryland Insurance Commissioner. I also served with Joe Bartenfelder, Department of Agriculture Secretary, and Ken Holt, Department of Housing and Community Development. Also Chris Cavey, Appointment Secretary. And many other members of the Hogan administration, believe it or not, are from Baltimore County. So Baltimore County is very well represented. So on behalf of the entire Hogan Rutherford administration, we would like to thank you for joining us today. And we'll get started this morning by having a presentation of colors by the Maryland National Guard, followed by the National Anthem by CCBC Choral Group, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Boy Scout Troop 745 of Essex, Maryland. Now I'd like to welcome the CCBC Choral Group to the stage, and we'll give them a few seconds to get down here. And I'd also like to welcome the Boy Scout Troop 745 of Essex, Maryland. Come on up. And now, please rise for the presentation of colors. Now for the National Anthem by CCBC Choral Group.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Boy Scout Troop 745 of Essex, Maryland.
Present arms. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Mark time, pause. Turn, pause. 3, 4, step. Port, out.
You can now be seated. Thank you to the Maryland National Guard, the CCBC Choral Group, and the Boy Scout Troop 745 for being a part of Governor Hogan's cabinet today. And thank all of you on behalf of Governor Hogan and Lieutenant Governor Rutherford and the entire cabinet for joining the Hogan administration today in Baltimore County. We have a great day ahead of us, a very packed agenda for all of you. Our cabinet secretaries will be out in the lobby afterwards, so we ask that you hold all questions until then. They will be out there as well as in the community most of the afternoon. At this time, I'd like to ask all the cabinet secretaries and directors of the government's coordinating offices to stand up to be acknowledged. And we also want to recognize the other elected officials with us today. They've got a busy schedule in Annapolis, and so we ask them to stand to be recognized. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce the great state of Maryland for welcome remarks. Help me give a warm welcome to Governor Larry Hogan.
Morning, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, good morning. Good morning, thank you very much. Everybody's had their coffee this morning. That's a very enthusiastic welcome. Thank you so much. First of all, let's again, I want to thank Boy Scout Troop 745 of Essex, the Community College Choir, and the National Guard. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And I especially want to thank Dr. Sandra Curtinitis for welcoming us here from the president of the Community College of Baltimore County. I want to thank you for the great job that you do, and thank you for hosting us this morning for our regional cabinet meeting, along with Jamie Alvarez, the Essex campus director, and I know his assistant, Judy Woke, did a lot of the work, so we want to thank all of them for helping put this together, so thank you. And I'd also like to thank the legislators and the local elected officials who have joined us, and as you saw when they all stood up, we've literally brought the entire leadership of state government directly here to the people in Baltimore County. Our team, I believe, has been doing an incredible job for the past 3 years. We've assembled a terrific cabinet and senior leadership team all across state government, and they are all dedicated public servants who are working very hard for you. And as Secretary Ports pointed out, Baltimore County is especially well represented. I think we might have overdone it on the Baltimore County representation, but let me just give a shout out to, again, Jim Ports, our Deputy Secretary of Transportation, our MC. Maryland Insurance Commissioner Al Redmer, our Ag Secretary Joe Bartenfelter, Chris Cavey, who's our Appointment Secretary, Mike Gill, our Commerce Secretary, and our Housing Secretary, Ken Holt, all from Baltimore County. more than any other jurisdiction. But it's great to be back in Baltimore County, and it's terrific to be back here on the east side. Great to be back in Essex. We started out at Dundalk at the Avenue Diner, and I can tell you this is, we travel all around the state, but this whole area I have a great warm spot in my heart. We love coming back to the east side, so thank you for welcoming us back. Our entire team is really looking forward to today. We have a very full and productive day all throughout Baltimore County today. We'll be touring small businesses, talking with local leaders, meeting residents, talking with local law enforcement, and visiting schools, and meeting with local volunteer organizations. This is our third regional cabinet meeting, and we're here because we do not want there to be any disconnect between Annapolis and Baltimore County. We're committed to listening to your concerns and staying engaged with your community. We have made it a priority to make sure that the people here in Baltimore County and from one end of the state to the other know that they have a voice in Annapolis, that they have a seat at the table, and that we have an entire administration that is working and fighting to be more responsive to you each and every day. And we're making sure that the state government is working for you instead of the other way around. For 3 years, our team has been focused on growing the private sector, creating jobs, and turning our economy around. And thanks in large part to our local small business job creators, that is exactly what we have done. In the years before I took office, Maryland had lost 8,000 businesses and 100,000 jobs. But over the last 3 years, we've created an incredible economic resurgence here in Maryland. Businesses are returning to and expanding in our state. We had the best year for business in Maryland in 15 years, best year for job growth in Maryland in a decade. We went from losing 100,000 jobs to gaining more than 110,000 jobs. We went from last place to first place in the Mid-Atlantic region in job creation. We're growing jobs at one of the fastest rates in the entire country, and we've created an exciting economic resurgence. Maryland is open for business, and encouraging economic development and growing jobs here in Baltimore County has been a particular priority. We've been directly involved in bringing at least 45 new business projects to Baltimore County with a total investment of nearly $200 million. Just a few of the recent success stories are adding 1,000 new jobs at Under Armour's new e-commerce headquarters at Trade Point Atlantic, and 1,500 jobs at the new Amazon distribution facility. We convinced McCormick, an iconic 129-year-old Maryland company who was thinking of moving to Pennsylvania, we got them to stay here and expand here right in Baltimore County, retaining 800 jobs. We added another 150 jobs at FedEx Ground, and the list goes on and on. Last year, we enacted the More Jobs for Marylanders Act to incentivize and encourage manufacturers to create jobs where we needed them the most. Under this new law, businesses, our new and expanding businesses, are receiving a 10-year tax credit for each new job they create. And the More Jobs for Marylanders Act took effect in June, and it's already been paying dividends and creating jobs in the areas of the state where we need them the most. To continue to incentivize even more investment and greater job creation across the state, last month we introduced More Jobs for Marylanders 2.0, which will expand the reach of this program into additional jurisdictions that need our help in growing more jobs. This expanded legislation also allows us to work with your local jurisdictions to identify your own individual economic development needs in order to provide targeted strategic state support to assist them. Counties will have the opportunity to designate up to 3 different industries or business sectors to be eligible for these tax incentives in their particular counties based upon their own local economic development goals and strengths. When it comes to education, We recently submitted our budget, which includes historically high funding for K through 12 for the 4th straight year. Every single jurisdiction in the state will see increased investment from the state. We're bringing our administration's total investment in K through 12 education just in Baltimore County to nearly $3 billion. For 3 years, we've been working tirelessly to rebuild Maryland's transportation infrastructure, because after 8 years of neglect and mismanagement, and after $1 billion had been siphoned from the Transportation Trust Fund, we had crumbling roads and bridges and some of the worst traffic in the nation. We successfully repealed the roadkill bill, which was passed by the legislature and pushed by your county executive, which would have killed all of the priority road projects in Baltimore County and all across the state of Maryland. But now we're able to finally move forward, and we are moving forward on nearly all of the highest priority road projects in every single jurisdiction from one corner of the state to the other. We've put $1.9 billion in our consolidated transportation plan just for projects here in Baltimore County. This includes our investment of more than $250 million towards traffic relief on I-695, over $62 million to widen I-695 all the way from US 40 to Route 144, more than $25 million for improvements along US 1. Statewide, we've already repaved more than 8,000 lane miles, more than 1/3 of the entire state highway system. We put $14.8 billion in our consolidated transportation plan, and right now, this morning as we sit here, we have nearly 1,000 transportation projects totaling $9 billion that are currently under construction from one corner of the state to the other. This level of infrastructure investment is historic and unprecedented. Our administration understands the incredible assets that you have here in Baltimore County, and we are here this morning because our entire team wants to serve you, work with you, and work for you. And we're proud that our fiscal 2019 budget includes $5 million for the Health Careers and Technology building right here at the Community College of Baltimore County, Essex. $62 million for the UMBC Interdisciplinary Life Sciences building, $60 million toward a new science facility at Towson University, and $12 million for the new Catonsville District Court project. We heard the outcry from local residents when it came to the midge infestation that has been plaguing the Back River area of Baltimore County, and the county refused to address this problem. So last summer, I signed an executive order directing the Maryland Department of Agriculture in partnership with the Maryland Department of Natural Resources to begin eradicating the infestation of midges on the Back River. Our latest budget includes $47 million for improvements to the Back River Headworks projects, which will solve the much-needed long-term solution to the infestation of midges that has plagued local neighborhoods and businesses throughout this area. We're also fighting to make the Baltimore County school system and your county executive more accountable and to push the Baltimore County schools to fix some of their long-standing issues like the HVAC problems. Seems like Baltimore County and Baltimore City are the only two places in the entire state that can't get this right. We can't seem to solve the most basic of issues, but we will keep holding their feet to the fire until they do. Together, we're making a lot of great progress here, but there's still a lot more to be done. That's why today, our entire team will be spreading out from one end of Baltimore County to the other. I will be visiting MedStar Franklin Square Hospital with our Health Secretary, Bobby Neal. I'm going to the Pikesville Armory with General Services Secretary Ellington Churchill to discuss the future uses for that facility. And I will also be at Delaney High School with our Budget Secretary, David Brinkley. I don't know if you heard about this, but after years of standing in the way and opposing a new high school, your county executive just a few days ago finally completely reversed his position when he heard about our visit today. And he's going to support the building of a new Delaney High School. I'm not sure if he saw the light or he felt the heat, but either way, we are happy that he changed his position. The Lieutenant Governor and I and our cabinet and our entire senior leadership team have nearly 100 meetings and visits in Baltimore County just today, and we'll be from one end of the county to the other. Glenn Fuston, the Director of the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, will be joined by Lieutenant Governor Rutherford and Secretary of State John Wobensmith to tour Turnaround, Inc., to learn more about their expanded capacity to serve victims of sex trafficking. Labor Secretary Kelly Schultz is welcoming IBEW 24 into the Apprenticeship Ambassador Program. Ag Secretary Joe Bartenfelder will be visiting Richardson Farm, a fifth-generation family farm that has operated year-round farmers market since 1930. Secretary of Natural Resources Mark Belton is visiting Gunpowder State Park in Middle River, and Transportation Secretary Pete Ron will be visiting Local Link 63, which will be going from Sparrows Point and highlighting the new expanded bus route from Sparrows Point to Dundalk through Greektown and into the Inner Harbor. We have a great cabinet meeting planned for you this morning. I want you to know that everyone on our entire team is committed to working together with your legislators and your local elected leaders to try to solve the problems and seize on the opportunities here in Baltimore County. And working together with all of you, we will continue to change Baltimore County and Maryland for the better. Thank you. It's going to be a great day in Baltimore County.
Wow. Well, you know what? Leaders lead. And if he was feeling the heat, Governor, I hope he was staying in an air-conditioned building, but I doubt it. So, as one of his first acts in office, Governor Hogan tasked Lieutenant Governor with heading the Heroin and Opioid Emergency Task Force. The task force advises and assists the governor in establishing a coordinated statewide and multi-jurisdictional effort to prevent and treat and significantly reduce heroin opioid abuse in the state. Lieutenant Governor Rutherford will brief you on the Hogan administration's ongoing efforts in fighting the heroin crisis. Now it's my privilege and honor to introduce Maryland's Lieutenant Governor, Boyd Rutherford.
Thank you and good morning. It's good to be back in the county, and as Jim would say, the canny, but and also back at the community college here in Essex. Madam President reminded me that I was here in this room, I guess back in the spring of last year. But I want to take a few minutes, as Jim had mentioned, to update you on the latest efforts with regard to the rapidly evolving heroin and opioid crisis in our state. As you know, last March, Governor Hogan declared a state of emergency in response to this crisis, and we've committed approximately $500 million towards fighting this epidemic of substance use disorder with a multi-pronged approach, focusing on prevention, treatment, recovery, and enforcement. Yet the problem continues to destroy lives and tear apart families and communities across our state as well as the entire country. In response, last month, our administration announced a number of new initiatives to continue this fight. First, and I want to say thanks to the leadership of Secretary Moyer, was here somewhere, in the back, we will be conducting a feasibility study with the intention of transforming the old Baltimore City Jail, or what would be a new jail, into a therapeutic detention facility in order to provide those low-level offenders with the help they need to turn their lives around. Understand that in Baltimore City and in the jail population, approximately 60% of the population suffers from either substance abuse disorder or mental health issues, or both. And our system of justice must hold criminals who traffic these deadly drugs and poisons in our community accountable for the destruction that they cause. But we also must draw a distinction between those individuals, those high-level drug traffickers, and the nonviolent users whose main problem is that they're struggling with this disease. Our administration introduced 2 new pieces of legislation this year to further address and expand the network of treatment facilities and treatment services. These include a proposal to eliminate the certificate of need requirement for capital projects that offer certain level of inpatient treatment, and a bill to strengthen the behavioral health workforce. To further bolster our efforts, we have introduced legislation which would allow emergency management providers and law enforcement officers to input and share data about fatal and non-fatal overdoses. This technology will give first responders greater situational awareness so that they can respond immediately to extremely potent batches of a specific opioid in real time. Finally, when it comes to enforcement, we've introduced new legislation to target high-level drug traffickers who use the death and destruction that they cause for personal gain. Maryland currently has a volume dealer law which allows for prosecution of drug traffickers who deal in large quantities of controlled dangerous substances. However, the law currently does not address the fentanyl issue. And to tackle the fentanyl crisis, which is associated with the majority of the fatal overdoses in our state, our bill will add fentanyl and its analogs to the volume dealer law. And it allows additional penalties for those who deal 5 or more grams of fentanyl. We're also introducing emergency legislation to further strengthen Maryland's gang statutes and RICO laws to allow Maryland prosecutors to more effectively build and prosecute cases against and to take down these organized criminal enterprises. This legislation will clarify that the underlying crime of these groups, which would include distribution of drugs, can be tried across jurisdictions. On top of all this, our fiscal year 2019 budget that the governor introduced a couple of weeks ago includes $159 million dedicated to non-Medicaid substance use disorder and addiction programs, $13.7 million in new funding for the state's response to the heroin and opioid crisis, $3 million in grant funding to local boards of education to implement prevention and education programs, and $1.2 million to expand treatment programs and job readiness training for Maryland's Department of Public Safety and Corrections pre-release population, as well as 15 new positions at the Department of Health to assist inmates in applying for Medicaid when they're eligible and prior to release. Ultimately, these initiatives are about saving lives. That is the bottom line. And it will take a collaborative and holistic approach from all of us to accomplish this task. I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today, and thank you for the welcome to Baltimore County.
So another great leader from Governor Hogan's promise during the campaign that he was going to fight this. He was leading this issue way before the rest of the country was. And we thank Lieutenant Governor Rutherford for his leadership. Now we'll be presenting governor's citations to members of the community that exemplify a commitment to service and continue to make Baltimore County and the entire state of Maryland proud. When your name is called, please come to the stage to be recognized. Pathfinders for Autism. Through legislation passed in 2015, the Ethan Saylor Alliance was created to provide increased training for members of law enforcement and other public service entities on specific needs of those with developmental and intellectual disabilities. Pathfinders for Autism, in collaboration with the Ethan Saylor Alliance, have established a reputable presence among the law enforcement community, all without any cost to Maryland law enforcement. So let's give him a few minutes and we'll give him another round of applause with the governor. I'd also like to mention at this time, while we're waiting, that my daughter, Kelsey, is in her 3rd year of teaching special ed up in Harford County. So we're very close to this issue. What a great job. Thank you very much. Back River Restoration Committee. Back River Restoration Committee is a nonprofit organization dedicated to restoring the health of Back River watershed. With a continuation of committee cleanups, community outreach programs, and a variety of other actions, plans are put in place to take a comprehensive look at the communities surrounding the river and provide a variety of activities that can assist in reviving Back River. The Back River Restoration Committee has successfully promoted stewardship in the local communities affected and improved the quality of the Back River. Saw you folks over at the diner too, right? Yes. And I want to say this. I hope Governor Hogan ate something before he got to the diner, because I guarantee he couldn't eat once he got there. Because I tell you what, you'd have thought a rock star walked into that building, because everybody wanted to touch him. What a great sight that was. Next in line is Robert Ramaka. Yeah. Robert Ramaka is being honored for his active role in the community for many years. His commitment to attracting business opportunities to the Essex Middle River area was successful as he led the effort to establish the Franklin Square Hospital and the Essex campus of the Community College of Baltimore. Okay, Frank Bonsall. Frank Bonsall III is the Director of Venture Creation at Towson University. Mr. Bonsall is a pioneer in the field of education, technology, and investment. He has an impressive 25 years of experience advancing innovation and productivity in and around education. As Director, Mr. Bonsall has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs. His direct investment experience includes nearly 30 educational companies whose solutions have impacted tens of millions of people. Thank you. Laura Clary. Laura Clary received her nursing degree from the Community College of Baltimore County School of Health Professionals in 2008, and since then has spent her career working in Baltimore County hospitals. She manages GBMC's Sexual Assault Forensic Examination, or SAFE program, and Domestic Violence program, which she is proud to have expanded during her tenure at GBMC. In 2016, she was recognized as one of Baltimore's top nurses in women's health, and in 2017, she was awarded America's Most Amazing Nurse by the Doctors and Prevention magazine. And I just want to say, where'd she get that education? Right here. Right here. Two of us. All right? Good stuff. Miss Gloria Nelson. As president of the Turner Station Conservation Team, Miss Gloria Nelson has played a critical role in the success of the local community. Turner Station Conservation Team has partnered with many local community groups, local businesses, churches, and environmental groups to work together to connect residents with services, to connect children with sports and opportunities, and to act on environmental oversight and health disparities. Kelly Seabour. Named Baltimore County's 2017 Woman of the Year, Kelly has dedicated much of her time to volunteering in the community. In 2012, Kelly worked with nearly 4,000 volunteers who donated their time and funds to help build the community playground and amphitheater in Perry Hall called Angel Park. The facility opened in 2016 and became a positive, safe, and peaceful place for many people within the community. Thank you, Kelly. David Bell. David Bell is being recognized for his dedication and support for the youth and staff at the Charles H. Hickey School. During a recent emergency situation, David remained at the facility for over 40 hours to ensure the well-being and safety of the youth. Unfortunately, David could not be here today. Accepting the award on his behalf is his colleague, Joseph Hester. Terry Seats. Terry's current roles are Chair of Baltimore County Commission on Disabilities and Peer Network Director of the National Spinal Cord Injury Hotline at Kernan Hospital. Terry has been serving for 25 years as a leader and advocate for those with disabilities in the Baltimore County community. This one's near and dear to my heart. Eastern Technical High School. Where are they? Our last community citation is to congratulate the Eastern Tech High School boys soccer team who won the 2017 They won the 2017 2A State Soccer Championship in November with a 2-0 victory over River Hill High. Thank you guys, because my daughter went to Eastern Tech and lost to River Hill. So thank you. But listen to this. This is incredible. The team had an 18-0 record with a season-high 61 goals and 13 shutouts. This is the first boys soccer state title in school history. Go Mavericks! Good job, guys. Thanks. Okay. Now I would like to call Secretary Kelly Schulz of the Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation to come up and give a presentation on setting the standard in workforce development and career opportunities within the county. Kelly?
It's hard to follow a soccer team, but good morning to everybody, and I want to say thank you, first of all, to the governor and to the lieutenant governor for allowing me to talk about some of the good news that's happening within the agency. I also would like to thank Dr. Curtinitis, who has been a transformational partner with the agency, along with other community colleges, but this is not my first time here, and it certainly will not be my last, Doctor, so thank you very much for your hospitality. As you know, workforce training is a very important part of what we do in order to be able to influence economic growth and be able to capitalize on what we do within our economic environments. But let's not forget that our workers are one of our most greatest assets. Thank you. So over the last 3 years, the Department of Labor has been extraordinarily busy in being able to capitalize on some of our innovative ideas. Thank you to Governor Hogan and to Lieutenant Governor for their visionary review of what we are wanting to be, which is the best, most innovative workforce state in the nation. And I believe the last 3 years have proven that, as you can see from some of our extraordinary numbers above. So, about 20% increase in the number of apprenticeships over the last year. And why is this important? It's important because we have to directly address the issues that the industry is relating to and what they need in order to be able to attract the best, most qualified candidates for their positions. But we also need to be able to directly connect those workers with those industry partners to make sure that we have the best, most talented workforce in the nation. Over the last 3 years, we have created more than 230 registered occupations in both traditional and non-traditional industries. Obviously, our traditional industries, such as the construction world, our non-traditional industries like information technology, digital and social media, biotechnology, healthcare, arborists, machinists, industrial maintenance, and the list goes on and on. Over the last 14 months, 17 new registered apprenticeship programs have been created, and even as importantly, 9 more have been reactivated. Those programs and those partners that have been deactivated over the course of 10, 20, maybe 30 years until our agency reorganized our Department of Apprenticeships, and we put them to work, and we brought our partners back into the game. This year, we created a Maryland Apprenticeship Ambassador Program, recognizing those organizations that have routinely and throughout the course of many years been partners of the Department, of the state, and of the workers in order to be able to move forward with what we need to do in order to be able to create that workforce of the future. I want to point out some of our Baltimore County partners. Ralloyd Machine Company, this is a notable reactivation. They had been inactive for 25 years. We just reactivated them in January of 2018, and they are currently in the process of bringing on new registered apprentices in the manufacturing community. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 24, has a large skilled trained program and was Maryland's first apprenticeship sponsor. The Baltimore County Skilled Trades Program, through the Associated Builders and Contractors of Metro Baltimore, they were Maryland's second sponsor. And of course, the Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 486. I want to give a special shout out to my colleague, Secretary Mark Belton, who has taken the visionary lead in order to be able to create a new program and reactivating that, having to do with police officer occupations within the Department of Natural Resources. So obviously, workforce training is very important, and the Earn Maryland program has been a national and international model for future workforce development. That means that we're going to all of our partners, we're going to every single industry and asking them what their needs are. And then we're working with them to create partnerships and to bring training organizations together in order to be able to provide skills and competencies that are directly related to those jobs that are in the need as of right now today. And I'm so excited because of the governor's leadership. We have taken a successful program and made it more successful. Last year, we doubled the investment into workforce training. We went from $4 million to $8 million. Thank you, Governor Hogan. And what we have seen as a result of this investment in our economic growth is a return on our investment of over $18 for every dollar that is invested in this training. That is about $15 more return on investment than any other workforce program in the nation. And what we have been able to do with the additional funds is to be able to create specific EARN programs. We've been able to create programs specifically in green jobs, $1 million coming to those programs, $3 million in cybersecurity and information technology, being able to focus on our advanced technology and our STEM occupations for those students. And what I think you will be able to see over the next 5 years, dare I say, Mr. Governor, is an increase in these programs even more. I think that we have an extreme level of excitement. You can see some of Baltimore County's partnerships within the EARN program, the Maryland Advancement Manufacturing and Plastic Partnerships, hydraulics, pneumatics, electronics. Their return on investment is $17.79 for every dollar invested. The Healthcare Mentorship Baltimore program, it's working directly with foster and disconnected youth. 93% of the program graduates obtain employment on the day of their graduation. Automotive Technicians for Change. This is for returning citizens, for that population that we need to be able to provide additional opportunities. In automotive repair, prepares for automotive service excellence certifications. And interns who have completed the program have a 3% recidivism rate as compared to a 33% national recidivism rate. These programs work, Mr. Governor. I'm happy to be able to bring this to Baltimore County, and we look forward to continuing the good work of the administration.
So Kelly doesn't know this, but I'm one of our customers. I'm a licensed journeyman gas fitter, and just renewed.
Look at that.
And it was so easy. It's got her signature on it and everything. It was so easy because under Governor Hogan's leadership, customer service is number one. And everything we do, we think about how to serve the customer better. So thank you, Kelly, for all your leadership. Now I would like to call Deputy Secretary Lance Shines of the Department of Information Technology to come up and present the new and extremely efficient licensing portal at the department that the department just rolled out. He will also be demonstrating how to use the portal after the meeting outside in the lecture hall. Lance?
Thank you. Good morning. First, I'd like to thank Governor Hogan for his strong support. The Department of IT is very determined to deliver on Governor Hogan's commitment to make sure that Maryland is open for business. I would also like to thank all of the folks that helped build this portal. In order for this portal to provide information for hundreds of permits and licenses, it took the cooperation of many agencies across the state. Also, because of our healthy vendor community here in Maryland, we were able to quickly procure great talent and develop this citizen-centric tool that is owned by the state. Maryland One Stop is modern and intuitive. It uses intelligent search and can be accessed via your desktop, your tablet, or your smartphone. The One Stop licensing portal is just the first step in leveraging technology to make sure it is easier for Marylanders to do business with the state. We will now play a 2-minute video that shows the portal in action. Thank you.
It is often challenging for the public to navigate through online government services. With many state agency websites to look through, it's hard to figure out which agency will issue you a plumbing license, or a barber license, or a fishing license. People will often use search engines to find what they're looking for. This can result in looking through multiple links to get basic and incomplete information. Maryland One Stop is an online web portal that provides a single point of entry that brings together license and permit information from most state government agencies, allowing for Marylanders to search and find what they're looking for with ease. The search engine is intuitive and easy to use. For example, if you are looking for all plumbing-related licenses, you can use the search term plumbing or plumber, or even misspell the word such as PLUM or PLUMMER. The customer-friendly search result format will allow users to quickly view how long the license or permit is valid for, what is the typical approval processing time, the cost range associated with the application, and how much time is expected to take to fill out the application. If you view the detail of the application, you can see even more information such as requirements and any documentation that is necessary. You will also get a link to either download the application or apply online with the agency that issues the license. If you already have a license or permit, you can also view the steps that are required to maintain your license, which can include paying renewal fees or filing a proof of continuing education. You can also find more information regarding the state agency that issues the license, including relevant contact information for further help, the purpose of the license, as well as regulations or laws that govern it. This beta version of Maryland's One Stop portal has been developed for Marylanders. Please click on the Tell Us What You Think button to provide feedback, because this tool is for you, and we want to make sure it is as helpful as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. Now we will be presenting customer service citations. As I mentioned, one of Governor Hogan's first initiatives is customer service, and I tell you, when you think about how to do things for the customer instead of how to impact the bureaucracy easier, you think differently. So we'll be presenting citations to state employees who have been demonstrated consistent, outstanding customer service to the citizens of Baltimore County. Customer service, as I mentioned, is extremely important to the Hogan Rutherford administration. In June of last year, the governor launched the Customer Service Initiative, a continuous program designed to foster improvements in customer service across the state Maryland agencies. When your name is called, please come to the stage to be recognized. Patricia Francis. Patricia Francis is an administrative aide at the Higher Education Commission. She's being nominated for her outstanding service to Baltimore County constituents dedication to her fellow employees, and outstanding work ethic. She is known for going above and beyond in helping students and parents. She is a team player and always willing to help out her fellow employees whenever and wherever she is needed. Thank you, Patricia. Jane Roger. Jane Rogers is the Chief of Land Acquisition and Disposal Unit under the Office of Real Estate and Department of General Services. She's being nominated for playing an instrumental role in several projects with the department, including the Rosewood transfer, which took years of planning, negotiation, and dedication. Thank you, Jane. Next, it's a long list, folks. Alan Price, Brian Knighting, Andre Futrell, Amir Kuram, Terry Clark, and Mike Wetzel. Go SHA. For those of you who don't know, our next group of individuals exemplifies what customer service initiative stands for. The Maryland State Highway Administration has positions called resident maintenance engineer. These are the men and women who work directly with the community members when things need attention, like fixing potholes, grass cutting, litter, snow, etc. In Baltimore County, we happen to have an exceptional group that are all high performers. This year, we had a vacancy gap in the beginning of the winter in Prince George's and Montgomery counties, and this group stepped up to make sure we had no public safety issues with the vacancy and took a double workload to manage not only Baltimore County, but both of the other counties as well. In turn, each one of these members took on extra workload with enthusiasm and a smile. They do an outstanding job with our community every day. Okay. Now I'd like to call Secretary Pete Ron, the Department of Transportation, to come up to the stage to provide an update on how the Hogan administration has invested in infrastructure in Baltimore County. And what you need to know about Pete is he only gets 5 minutes, so that boss and this boss are putting me between a rock and a hard place. Good luck.
Good morning. I had been told he had special dispensation from the governor to control me. So that was, I have to tell you, Jim Ports is an amazing public servant, and I am so fortunate to have him within the department, because I can tell you he knows the state very well, but he really knows Baltimore County, and we're lucky. I've been a little standoffish today. I have to warn you, I've got that bug, and so I've not touched anybody. I've stayed away, and I really, and I have to tell you, I really was thinking of just staying in bed today. And then I remembered seeing the governor go through chemotherapy and watch him get up basically off the back of a bus, laying down, and come out and deliver, I mean, tremendous support of transportation issues, and knowing that he felt absolutely horrible. And if the governor can do that, I certainly can deal with a bug for that now. And I did comment, Governor. I even told the governor I like the look of his new scar that's going to be over his eye. It makes him look really tough. Not that he needed to be any tougher, I can tell you. So do I now have 5 minutes starting now?
No, there's plenty of 5 minutes. I told you it wasn't going to work.
So within the Baltimore region, we have made huge investments. Since 2015, we have committed $7 billion to the region. This is a major investment to, number one, get our system in better condition, but also targeting congestion. And so what you can see here is for the governor's Baltimore Traffic Relief Plan, We have investments in I-695 so that we will be able to use the inner shoulder during peak traffic times. Reconstructing the I-695, I-70 interchange, the triple bridges, which is a huge choking point within the region. I-95 express toll lanes northbound are going to be expanded, and we are working with the U.S. Department of the Interior to acquire the rights of way to 295 so that we can add express lanes for this critical link between Washington and Baltimore. At the Helen Dillich Bentley Port of Baltimore, the only thing you can say is, wow. It is amazing what is going on out there. Record-breaking 2017, nearly 600,000 containers, 10.7 million tons of general cargo, and an amazing 800,000 vehicles coming through that port. 800,000. These are the kinds of activities that create good paying jobs for the region and especially Baltimore County. And I have to tell you, Jim White is doing an amazing job out there. Transit service to Tradeport Atlantic. The governor had mentioned this morning. And to let you know what it takes to deliver service to jobs, which is what we have been directed by the governor to concentrate on, and tell you that we have added 47 trips each workday to be able to get people to the jobs that have been created out there. Under Armour, Amazon, and I'm leaving one out. FedEx, sorry, and FedEx. Good paying jobs, and it's important that we get people to jobs, and that's what we are focused on. And then lastly, the Essex office here was the first in the state to combine M.MVA with DNR. We did that in the spring of 2017. Since that time, this one-stop shop approach has meant that people can go to the M.MVA office and be able to get licenses like their boat trailers, driver's license, fishing license, and hunting license, all in one single location. And to give you an idea, if you're not a boat owner, what it used to mean is you had to go first to DNR and get your boat license, then you had to go to MVA and get your trailer license. Now it makes so much sense. 5,785 people have taken advantage of that right here in Essex. We are committed to providing exceptional customer service at MDOT, and I have to tell you, I apologize for our SHA workers who were just recognized. They do an amazing job. I want to keep you on the job. I don't want to give you anything from me, and so, but representing us extremely well. So thank you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Pete. Now I'd like to call Secretary Ken Holt of the Department of Housing and Community Development to give a presentation on an array of grant and learning programs through the Department for Financial Construction of Affordable Housing and issuing business and infrastructure loans. Kenny?
Thank you.
Good job.
Good morning. It's great to see so many friends from Baltimore County, and I want to thank you for the warm welcome to Governor Hogan and his administration. The Department of Housing and Community Development is basically a housing finance agency. We provide loans for people to acquire mortgages, and we construct affordable rental housing. We also redevelop and revitalize communities. We are basically self-sustaining. We are nationally recognized for the quality of our staff, our fiscal conservatism and prudence, and also our innovation. Our programs contribute tremendously to the economic strength of this state. In 2017, we generated about $3.6 billion of economic activity, providing 17,000 jobs, paying a little bit more than $1 billion in salaries and wages. Governor Hogan wants each and every one of you to get the most out of your tax dollars, and we have generated about $18 in outside reinvestment for every dollar that this department invests. And in addition, there's that economic multiplier effect of about $28 of economic activity. We have been asked by the governor to constantly do more and do better for our constituents. And a very good example is up in the upper left corner there. We created a program that helps young individuals, millennials, who were declining in their home acquisition to acquire a home and retire their student debt. Student debt has been a significant problem. We call the program Smart Buy. Last year we sold 34 properties throughout the state. 5 of these properties were in Baltimore County. The average price was about $163,000, and we retired about $22,000 per individual of student debt in this program. It was so successful that NBC Nightly News did a feature, and 3 other states, Ohio, California, and New York, are considering establishing a very similar kind of program. Governor Hogan has asked us to expand Smart Buy to include not just homes that are in our inventory as a result of foreclosure, but also to include conventional home acquisition. To the right, if we could move from our youngest home buyers to our senior home owners, we renovated Tabco Towers in Towson at the cost of about $13 million and created 200 beautiful new units, low cost to the seniors and very, very high quality. Throughout the entire state, in the first 3 years of the governor's administration, we have created over 11,600 affordable units in 105 projects statewide. One of our very important community revitalization programs is called Strategic Demolition. And on the lower left corner, you see what was formerly the Eastern Family Resource Center on the campus of Franklin Square Hospital that has been demolished through Strategic Demolition Fund and relocated in a brand new facility close by. We provided a little bit more than $1 million to help Franklin Square construct their new state-of-the-art, world-class surgical center. Dundalk is also a recipient of significant financial dollars through Strategic Demolition and through our Baltimore Regional Neighborhood Initiative. And they are considered a Main Street sustainable community. Between 2016 and 2018, we provided about $2 million to support 13 different projects that were sponsored by the Dundalk Renaissance Corporation. The investment supports home renovation and business incubators, and we have here today with us Laura Quintana. Laura, if you could stand up. She's the proprietor of the Little Crystal Bijou Jewelry Store. The Little Crystal Bijou Jewelry Store was originally a pop-up shop and is now a thriving commercial success in Dundalk. It was recognized by Baltimore County as the best new business. And with Valentine's Day just around the corner, I hope you'll visit. That's a commercial. We are going to replicate this model all across Baltimore County, and we're working with Essex right now to secure a sustainable community designation in order to increase capital into the area and assist with commercial growth. So I'd like to thank you all for your support, and to quote the governor, the Department of Housing and Community Development is open for business.
Thank you, Ken. Lastly, we'll now be presenting public safety citations to members of the community that demonstrate a commitment to public safety and service, members who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to protect others. When your name is called, please come down to be recognized. We have 2 here together. Field Supervisor 1, Karen Mitchell, and Agent Demetria Brown of Catonsville Field Offices. On April 7th, an offender reported to Catonsville office to see his agent. While waiting in the waiting room, he was observed being suffering from an active overdose. Field Supervisor 1 Karen Mitchell and Agent Demetria Brown tended to the man and called 911. The man received Narcan from paramedics on site and recovered at the hospital. This incident prompted parole and probation to ensure that every agent in the entire central region, Baltimore City, and county received training and kits. And next, we have Agent Monica Jackson of Owings Mills Field Office. Agent Monica Jackson is a true community leader. Along with other members of the office, she conducts outreach activities at Sarah's Hope Shelter located in Owings Mills. They have collected clothing, blankets, sheets, and essential items needed for residents of the shelter. Thank you, Agent Jackson. This concludes our Baltimore County Cabinet meeting. I'm going to thank each and every one of you for welcoming the Hogan administration to Baltimore County and joining us today. Governor Hogan and Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, as well as all the cabinet members, are looking forward to meeting you in the lobby as well as throughout the community this afternoon. Thank you very much.